meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Jammy is hiding. Jammy is on cam and hiding. Cat cam is not going to be great tonight, I'm afraid. But you've got me. That's pretty good. And you've got my little skeleton buddy, who still doesn't have a name for some reason. Hey, Hoopty. Hey, Leo. Yeah, I don't know. One of these days I gotta name my skeleton. I actually have 2 cats in the room right now, but Jammy Dodgers is being as small as possible and half hiding behind a blanket. Budgie Smuggler is on my chair behind my butt. And we've learned that aiming the cat cam at my butt is not it's not the way to go. It's not the thing to do. So yeah, you're just gonna have to make do with some half-hidden Jammy Dodgers for now. Maybe I can slightly rearrange the blanket. Hang on. Oh, so sleepy. So sleepy. No, you don't have to get up. Oh, I'm sorry. Go back to bed. Go ahead. Lie down. All right, well, I did not intend to wake her up. If I'd known she was gonna wake up, I would have switched it over to cat cam. But you know, mistakes were made. At least you get a good little rumply kitty now. Such a good Jammy Dodgers. So blinky and snuffly. Hey, Sanyo. Welcome. So, I don't know what the hell I'm doing tonight, y'all. She is so grumpy. Yeah, Sanyo. Me and the cat, equally cute. That's what everyone's always saying. Najwa, hello, welcome. What you doing, Jams? You gonna lie down? Such a big stretch and such a cute, comfy cat. She's gotta get very small again. She's trying to hide from stream, I think. Hey, Heather. You're here and you're not working for once. My goodness. How exciting. So far, everyone is settling in with Cat. And Jammy is trying to hide from the world this evening, it seems. I wonder if I can get the camera just closer to her. I don't know what's wrong with your computer, Cat. Other cat that is not furry. So I'm kind of not okay tonight. I feel like a lot of us are probably kind of not okay tonight, but I'm gonna try to distract myself with some nail polish. But I decided I should wear the appropriate shirt, and my little skeleton friend here has an appropriate snowflake. And that's how I'm feeling at the moment. Uh, how is head? Head is okay tonight. Yeah, I slept and it was fine. I had, for anybody who doesn't know, I just had kind of a rough day yesterday. I had a rough day yesterday physically, and then a rough day today mentally, and you know, it's all good. Leo, you're gonna try and paint something cute to attempt to make yourself feel better. Yeah, I think that's, I think that's correct. Yeah, shirt is mirrored, because I have to have the thing mirrored, otherwise it's weird and it looks wrong. But the thing is, if it's correct for me, then it's backwards for you. But because it's 3D printed, I can reverse it for me and make it correct for you. But I can't do that with my shirt. How did you just notice the spider lamp in the background? Probably because I actually remembered to turn the light on for once tonight. I often forget to turn it on because it's one of the few that it's not actually plugged into the wall. It's just run on battery, and so it's not part of the automated systems. Everything else is either automated or I can turn on by yelling at my phone to do something. So that's one of the few things I have to like manually walk over and press a button. Yeah, it is a cool spider lamp. Yeah, so yesterday what happened was I forgot to set my alarm. And I had a shift at the food bank. And somehow I just forgot to set my alarm, and I woke up literally 25 minutes before my shift. It was 25 minutes before my shift. And the place, usually I leave here about 20 minutes before my shift because I walk there because it's quite close. It usually takes me around 16 minutes to walk there. And yeah, so typically I'll leave here around 20 minutes before my shift starts, and I'll wander over there. I'll walk semi briskly but not in a particular hurry, and arrive there a few minutes before my shift is going to start. Get myself signed in, get my little badge, the whole thing set up. I'm good to go. But yesterday, because I woke up so late, I did not get to have my morning coffee, which is not okay for me. And then, and also I didn't get to have any breakfast. And I basically, thankfully, I'm generally a later in the day showerer. I don't tend to be a morning person at all. So I had showered, the evening before. And so, yeah, I just basically got up, panicked, brushed my teeth, threw on clothes, and booted it out the door and power walked all the way there. It took me 12 minutes and 30 seconds, according to my watch. 12 minutes and 30 seconds to get there. And I actually managed to get there right as my shift was supposed to start, which was quite impressive. But yeah, so it ended up being, by the time I finished my shift, I'd had a bottle of water, but I hadn't had anything to eat. I'd had my meds in the morning with just a sip of water as I was about to head out the door. But yeah, so no caffeine, no food. By the time I got home, I already had a horrible headache, and there was no amount of caffeine or food at that point that could dial that back. So it was just a miserable night. So yeah, no coffee equals headache city. Absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah. Turning off the alarm instead of snoozing is such a problem. I can't use the snooze function on my alarm. I actually have basically never, since my teen years, I have never used the snooze. There is no snooze. There is only wake the fuck up. Because otherwise I simply will continue snoozing. If I'm used to snoozing the alarm, I will just keep doing it for hours and hours and hours, which is the same thing that actually Brian does all the time. I'll hear his alarm going off, and it'll be going off for 2 hours, and he'll just keep hitting the snooze button. It'll just keep going off. I'm like, what are you doing? It's the same thing I used to do. So now I just don't have snooze enabled. Yeah, so the cat alarm works for me, except that a lot of the time Brian doesn't come to bed until after cat breakfast. And so he'll like fall asleep in his office chair at his computer, wake up, it'll be cat breakfast time. He'll go downstairs, feed all the cats, and then come to bed. And so if he does that, the cats aren't trying to wake me up. Your fiance also just literally wakes up when the alarm goes off? Yeah. So here's the problem. I'm that person. The alarm goes off, I'm up, and that's it. Like, I can't go back to sleep once the alarm goes off. As a general rule, that's it. So if Brian has to get up early and I don't, I'm up with his alarm and he's not. He's right back to sleep again, hitting the snooze button. And I'm like, well, I'm up now for the day. Oh, well. Ridiculous. Anyway, nails. We're going to do some. Someone had mentioned something about demoing the Snazzy, because I don't think I've used this on stream yet. And I got it recently. So someone mentioned maybe doing something with this. In my Discord, which is a place that people can go. I think everyone here is already on my Discord. But just in case anybody is lurking that isn't in my Discord already, and I have a Discord where you can give me your suggestions for things you want to see me do. So I figured we might play with some magnetics. Sonia, that was you? Okay, awesome. I never remember who says what. I don't even remember what the fuck I say. It's fine. But yeah, so I have this. I only got the regular like glass bead spinner attachment, and then the blank that you can put your own magnets on. So we can mess with those. And I happen to have 5 untried magnetics. Is Ray here? I don't see Ray. Did Ray say something? And oh my goodness. Oh, there she is way back there. Hi Ray. Yeah, so I happen to have 5 magnetics in my untried. So I'm gonna let y'all pick one of them. Here, let's turn this light on as well. Get a little extra. So this one here is from the BCB Winter Advent. So it's like a dark purple shimmer, light blue magnetic. The base looks like it's got a blue or teal, maybe a teal base. Yeah, it looks like a teal base. So we got that guy. And then there's a second one from the BCB Winter Advent, which is also this. So this one's a light purple base, green shimmer, blue magnetic. And then we got ILNP Alice, which is blue with yellowy gold. ILNP Warped, green with purple. And then this one is 1002, some call it Magic. Now this one's a pretty subtle magnetic. So it's blue and green. I think it's a little bit like DRK Pantanal, actually. But looks like green magnetic with a blue shimmer. I'm not sure about the base on this one, if it's a... Yeah, it looks like the base on this one is a denim-y kind of blue. It does kind of look like an interesting Skittle, doesn't it? We could Skittle them. I mean, we can absolutely skittle them. Half of your new mags were mags. Half your new ILNP were mags. Hey, Polished Mess, welcome. Why does your food plate not have cookies? Sonia, you have Alice? Okay, why don't we go ahead and skittle them? Why don't we skittle them? Skittle them how though? Let's do a little swipey on some just like on a white thingy and decide. I'm doing so good with words right now, y'all. Doing so good with words. Okay. We'll just swatch them on a white mat. I know how words work. And see what order we want to do them in. BCB 2. Yeah, I feel like skittling them might be the way to go, but let's just see what they look like all swiped out together. Most the last ILNP order you made was the newest magnetics. I did not order these two ILNPs that I have. Ray gave me these. Was it Ray? It was Ray. And I can't remember the last time I ordered anything from ILNP. It's been a really long time. I only have a few ILNP. I don't have very much from them. I feel like Warped is quite a bit different from the others so far. I don't know how I feel about including Warped. Let's see how Alice looks. Words are hard. Brain never wants to make them, but especially not during streaming. Let's just give these a second to kind of set. I'm actually going to do a second coat of... The ILNP ones are so much sheerer than the others. Nice dynamic colors, though. I like the green base of the ILNP. It's very muddy. I'm a big fan of that. You do have cookies on your plate. I assume we're talking about a stamping plate here. And of course you would be able to take the bottoms off of muffins and turn the tops into cookies. What are you talking about? Okay. So there's our set of 5. Do we in fact want to skittle them? And if so, is this the order we want to use? Sonia. For a second, I thought she meant her food plate too, and then I was like, no, this is Kat. She's stamping. This is a stamping plate. Kat, you had everyone all excited about actual cookies. How dare you? I feel like these 3 go together pretty well, and I feel like these 2 go well together. And I feel like maybe these 2 with this one kind of go well, but the 2 ILNPs feel a little bit weird with the rest. I don't know. Should we go with them anyway, even though they're a little more different? I mean, I feel like anything can work if you just want it. Hey, Sassy. Oh, so you have real cookies and you want your nails to match the real cookies? That does sound fun. I got a cookie jar, a really beautiful pottery cookie jar, like last year. Or the year before maybe even. And I was like, you know what I should do? Because I'm a content creator, I should do my nails to match the cookie jar. And then bake some really nice cookies. And then do like a whole filming thing where I'm like baking the cookies with the nails that match the cookie jar, and like then putting the cookies in the cookie jar while my nails are matching and the whole 9 yards. And then I was like, but what if I didn't though? What if I was just too lazy to do all that? I would have to figure out lighting for the kitchen and shit. Like, it would just be such an ordeal. It was such a good idea in terms of like, yes, this would make good, cute content creation fodder, but also, God, I am not that girl. So we've got some ILNPs don't match. Some people want to leave them. Some people want to keep them. I could do the ILNPs on the other hand. That's true. What if I did a 1 2 3 2 1 with the BCBs and the 1002, and then did a 1 2 1 2 with the ILNPs on the other hand? That would work. Let's do that, and we'll do them all glass. What was the one on the bottom? Yeah, that was the Prism Parade comparison that I swatched for you. Which is also really beautiful. I'm so impressed. Also, I have the next one. There's some really good shit coming up. Okay, so we'll do the 2 BCBs and the 1002 on my left hand, and then the ILNPs on my right hand. We're doing all glass bead, or do we want to test out the other thing? Because we could test out the other thing, but I feel like people kind of wanted the glass bead. So the other thing is more of like a static. You wouldn't spin while holding it, like, or while having your finger in there. You would just like hold it static, and basically use it as like an easy way to assemble weird things. So maybe I could do that with a couple of nails. I don't know. It's just a thought. We wants to know what cat that is. I could do one on one hand and one on the other. You're curious about the choose your own adventure attachment. Okay. All right. Why don't we do the choose your own adventure attachment on my right hand? I'm going to suggest that on my right hand with the ILNPs because I think that the ILNPs have a little higher contrast and will work better for that. And do the spinny on the 3 that are lower contrast, which are also finer particle. Choose your own adventure on the ILNP. Yeah, okay. I think that's the right way to do it. So the kitty that is on cam right now is Dodgers Puddin' Pie. Here she is in the Cat's Up, doing a full face plant behind the blanket. I do also have a smuggler behind my butt. She's being a butt smuggler, but Dodgers Puddin' Pie decided she wanted to both be on cam and be not on cam at the same time. Okay, so my plan for this with the spinny is going to be to use a thingy in the thingy. I'm so good at words. Does anybody here watch Evan and Caitlin content on YouTube? They have, if you're not familiar with them, they do like DIY stuff, a lot of resin pours, artsy shit. They do some interesting projects, but Evan in particular is notoriously bad at speaking, and some of their merch is just says words are hard. And I feel like I really need to have some of their t-shirts. You were thinking Colette? Yeah, Colette also Colette also struggles with words. Okay, so anybody who's not familiar with the snazzy thing, just in case, I'm gonna break it down for you. Basically, so this thing is, I purchased this, by the way. This is not an ad. This is not PR, nothing like that. I purchased this from Jen & Barry's, is the distributor for Snazzy. There's all these different attachments you can get for it. Comes with the velvet. That's like the base unit is just the velvet. Which you can use static for a standard velvet mani, or you can use with the spinner for a glass bead mani. So, nice thing with this is that you can adjust the height. So, get it started here. It's obviously 3D printed. So you can basically adjust the height that the thing is going to be for your fingers. Sort of adjust the distance that you're putting your finger in as well. Because there's like a little ridge here, which is hard to show you, but there's a little ridge right here that is offset slightly. So it's not right in the center. It's like more to one side than to the other. There, you can see the bump there. So see how it's more to one side than to the other? You can sort of use this as a way to help you figure out how far in you need to be. So if you have like a really long nail, you're probably going to want to be more on the short side, so more of your nail is in the center. And if you have shorter nails, you're probably going to want to be more on the long side so that the center of your actual like tip of your finger is in the center. For me, having it on the long side is about correct for my current nail length. I actually basically put it in so that my tip of my finger kind of just touches that bump, and then I pull back very slightly. So I'm like, you kind of have to figure out what's the right spot for you. So also, you don't want to have rings on when you're doing this. Pumpkin? What are we talking about, Pumpkin? Oh, the Pumpkin Saga. Yes, the Pumpkin Saga is them, yeah. You had ordered this but then canceled because the Iceland trip took precedence. That seems very reasonable. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to put your finger in to whatever distance you've figured out is correct for you, and then you're going to spin it. Now, obviously, there's a few ways to do it. You can spin it this way. I find, for me, I tend to be a little bit too rough with it, and if you see how it's like moving a little bit when I do this? So I have found that I like to twirl it this way with something else instead. And that allows me to sort of keep it more level. Because obviously if you're moving it, it's going to throw things off. Totally just dropped that brush. Ugh. Oof. Okay. So, let's just go ahead and get started. So I'm going to do we'll start with this. So these two BCBs, these were both from the Winter Advent that I purchased. So this one is Time like the herb waits for snowman. And we're not going to focus up. There we go. Time waits for snowman. And the two BCB Winter Advent Calendar polishes are currently available to purchase individually. All of their Winter Advent polishes are. Now, technically, of course, you don't need to spin after every coat, just like you never need to really magnetize after every coat. But I personally am a fan of spinning after every coat. So that's what I do. It's going to be a little wonky with my thumb because I have to hold it up to be able to get my thumb in there or have it like hanging halfway off the edge. Yeah, it's not always. It wasn't when I swatched it before. I think I just did a bad job. But yeah, it won't be on the second coat. Why after every coat? I like it better that way. I don't know. I just feel like I get better results when I magnetize after each coat. I am happier with the results that I get 9 times out of 10 if I magnetize after each coat. So I just always magnetize after each coat. Not everybody does. That's allowed. Okay, so I had this real close in, and so it gives this quite sort of wide, roundy thing rather than a more diffuse sort of circle in the middle. If I bring it up a little higher, then I just totally fucked that up. Should have used the wood one instead, but I didn't. Anyway, if I bring it up a little higher, then it will give a little bit less of like an O and more of a bead. Yeah, it takes a little longer, but I'm fine with that. Okay. Now, pinky. I'm going to go ahead and do the pinky next. Since I'm using the same color on it. And I'm not going to adjust the height because I feel like that other one was slightly too close to the nail for the effect that I prefer. I like it to be a little less of an O and a little more of a circle. So I want it to be just a little bit further away, which with my pinky, it's just naturally going to be. It's another good reason to magnetize each coat because you can dial this shit in. I feel like the level I have the 30-pound magnet set to is already kind of perfect. In my little DIY prototype rig that I made. So I don't need to adjust that. It doesn't need to be adjustable for me because it's so strong that I can have it far enough away that it just does a nice job for every nail. That's the only thing with these 3D printed ones is that they do have to be a little closer to get the same effect for the spin. All right. But yeah, see how with this one you get less, because it was just a little bit further away, you get less of an O and more of like the proper bead. Whereas with this, it's just a little bit too close. This means that the magnet was basically like the actual like edges of the magnets were slightly below that middle point of the nail. That's why we're getting that. So now for this one, I think I am going to leave it. I think it'll be okay for everything except for the thumb. That's like the only one that I think needs to be raised a little bit. Oh, I didn't tell you the name of this one. This is Slay My Name, Slay My Name. Yeah, all right. Okay. Too much polish. Spinny, spinny. This is the really exciting part of the stream where I'm spinning forever. You realize this is going to be like a good chunk of the stream now, because y'all wanted some glass bead shit. It's y'all's fault. Mostly Sonia. It's mostly Sonia's fault for wanting some glass bead shit. Y'all can thank her. I'm not mad about it. I've wanted an excuse to play with this anyway, so it's all good. And it is at least a little quieter than the sex toy spinner. The sex toy spinner is very fun, but oh so extremely noisy. You're welcome, chat. This one is so pretty. Holy shit. Okay, sorry. Listen, I just really like this. I really like this one. It's like, oof, 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 oof. Oh, look at that. Okay. Remind me to yell at Brittany that I love this one. Despite the fact that it has a purple base. Ah. You've got food, so no more counting? I didn't know you were counting. Oh, you were counting. There we go. That's okay. We don't really need to know. I do it a random amount of times. You made a not noisy version? You mean when you smoothed it? Because that's way too much work for me. If you have a not noisy version that doesn't require putting it in a acetone vapor bath, then that's cool. I do love this spinner. The sex toy spinner is great. If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, maybe I should pull out the sex toy spinner. Holler in chat if you have no idea what I mean by the sex toy spinner and want to see it. It is really good. Okay. Oh gosh. Oof. Oof. Ooh. I like her so much. Yes. It's so cool. Okay. Yeah, I know you don't count because I need to know. I know you count for yourself. It's fine. Pull it out. You do not know the ways? All right, hang on. This is the sex toy spinner. And you know what? It's really fucking good. I think it's maybe the best spinner I've tried. And I'm going to show you why I don't use it on stream. But I totally use it not on stream. Yeah, I probably should have warned you to turn your volume down if you're a headphone user, but I feel like I did tell everybody that it was really noisy, so... My mic is damping it? That's good. Anyway, that's the spinner, and this magnetic is kind of weak. I mean, I can sort of see it. It's kind of a weak magnetic. Kind of a weak magnetic. But yeah, it's very, like, it's cool and everything. It's just really loud for stream. I am happy to know that that my mic does damp the sound a little bit. Yeah, that's a really subtle magnetic. We'll see how it looks on the next round. You didn't count, but your foot is tapping? Okay. Second coat. Oh yeah, and I want to adjust the height on this. So let's go. Oh, wrong way. Okay. So I've just basically just screwed this in a little bit more to raise this up. So there's a little bit more of a gap now on my thumb than there was for the first coat. Yeah, the thing about the sex toy design is that it's really fucking good at accomplishing the task, and it's basically perfect. It's just that it's like loud. But I like having different methods to try. I'm a big fan. You know I didn't even do that on purpose, Sonyo. It's a really good design. They're both good designs. You know, this design that Snazzy came up with is very cool, and I like that it's quieter, and I like that it's got this height adjustability, and I like that there's the ability to swap out the attachments. But it's not without its flaws. So, you know, I don't think never mind, I don't think. I definitely have not seen any design that I think is completely perfect and without flaws. Okay, that's a little better. It's a little less, like, aggressively round. Still a little more of an O shape than I feel is completely ideal for my taste, but I think there's also, like, an element of spacing and whatnot involved in that. Like how far apart the sides of the magnet are and such. But yeah. Does a good job. I just totally fucking... Are you kidding me? I love when I manage to completely screw up a nail right after finishing part of it. Am I just doing 30 seconds? I'm just doing a random amount of time. Spamming the chat does not help you do anything. There is a delay, and if you want a response, you need to be a reasonable person, and not just spam your question over and over again. The answer to how do you make your nails grow faster is you don't. They grow the amount that they grow in the time that they grow, and that is mostly genetic and partly nutrition and partly environmental, but mostly genetic. And that is all. We're going to obviously have to do another coat of this, but I can at least kind of press it slightly into place, smooth it out a little bit. Okay. Pinky. Get a coat here and spinny, spinny, spinny. It's very annoying because I would only have had to do 2 coats on that if I hadn't dinged that. It's definitely opaque enough in 2 coats. Do I need to lower the height for the pinky? I mean, I could. I don't think that I need to. And I'm also kind of slightly, like, hovering my pinky just slightly. Like, it's still touching the base, but I'm not pressing it against the base. Which I think elevates it a couple of millimeters, which is probably about the amount that I would otherwise need to adjust it. So yeah, this gets a little bit of a rattle when you get going. It looks really good on the pinky. Okay. God, I'm so annoyed about that thumb. Can't believe I did that. All right. Second coat for the index. There's a little too much polish there. Had to brush some off on the inside rim of the bottle. There we go. Yeah, it gets a little bit of a speed wobble happening. I'm like trying to see if pressing down more or less helps. Seems like pressing down a bit helps slightly maybe, but yeah, I'm not sure. It definitely gets a speed wobble. You don't know if any of them except Ray's don't rattle. Jerry, you're being creepy. This is not a fetish site. Go away. Yeah, Ray's doesn't rattle at all. I'm trying to think. Like, my prototype one doesn't rattle, but I also have that completely customized, and it's not 3D printed. I do think anything that's going to have a certain amount of adjustability is likely to have some rattle. Like, if it's modular, it's hard to engineer that out. Probably not impossible, but, you know, the clamping it snugly so that it's not going to fall apart, while also allowing for free movement is not a trivial engineering problem. Yeah, scrapey scrapey versus rattle. Yup. I'm a little bit like, I kind of want to pull Ray's back out again to show it with a different polish so you can see that it's not Ray's contraption, but the polish itself that made it not look as dramatic as the others. Maybe I'll do that for my thumbnail. Do the last one. I have to do a third coat on the thumb I'll use the ray design for that, so you can see that it is not it's not the fault of the contraption, but rather than the magnetic. Ghislaine, hello. Welcome. Nice to see you. Jerry, seriously, if you're actually 10, then you need to leave. And if you're not actually 10, you're being a creep. So leave or you're getting booted. Get out. I do not want creeps here. Do not want creeps, do not want children. Just people who like to watch nail polish stuff. For non-creepy, gross reasons. Everybody else can fuck off. Sylvia here? Hello. Welcome, Sylvia. What polishes are these? We've got a little 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 Skittle going on right now with 2 BCB polishes from the Winter Advent Calendar, which I purchased. And then 1 from 1002 Nails, which I also purchased, but I feel like that one was more obvious. So this... The thumb, which I dinged and screwed up, the thumb and the pinky are both time weights for Snowman. The index and ring finger are both Slay My Name. Well, Slay My Name, Slay My Name. And then, whoop, I forgot I had already opened that. This one from 1002 Nails is Some Call It Magic. You're lurking while crafting. Enjoy your lurk. What are you crafting? Well, you don't have to tell me if you're busy lurking. Don't worry about it. But feel free to tell us what you're crafting, or tell us in the Discord if you want. That's cool too. I should put the Discord channel info in my actual, or the Discord server info in my YouTube channel info, but I don't think I've done that yet. Wait, did I add that? I don't know. I can't recall if I did or not. I think I meant to, but now I can't recall if I did. It is a nice Skittle combo. We're going to do something different on the other hand. I've got a couple of ILNPs that have been sitting in my untried since PBE. Description, it's missing. Not in the description of the video, not in the description of the live, but in the channel description. I think I added it to the channel description, but I'm not sure. Or like somewhere on the channel info thing. I should really add it to... One of these days I'm going to remember to add it to the... to like the live stream... like info thing. And then it would just be in the description of every live stream, because I just copy the last one usually. Okay, so that's 2 coats of the 1002 magnetic, and it's definitely just not a super strong magnetic. I can see it. It is there, but it's really subtle. Like, I don't think it's a weak magnetic. I think it's a really subtle magnetic. There's just not very much contrast between the green magnetic and the blue background is the issue. Okay. If you have Slack at work, Discord is what that's based off of. Slack is based off Discord? Like, do you mean in a programming sense. We can't do the other hand yet because I have to fix this finger, this thumbnail, which I'm going to do with Ray's thing so you can see that it works really, really well. Yeah, the shimmer and the magnetic are too similar on this one, which is unfortunate because it's a really beautiful polish. And I can see it. It's just incredibly subtle. Okay, let's get... Hello. Let's not knock that over. Let's get this third coat on here to hopefully kind of fix this slightly, or at least make it less obvious. Ah. Okay. It's so loud. Oh, you're doing your other hand now. Cool. And if anybody's doing their nails while watching stream, please feel free to throw your Manny photos in the Discord after you're done. Oh, I see what you mean, Leo. Yeah, I mean, they're both actually sort of modeled on the old IRC servers, which are, of course, way older than either. This thing is really ridiculous. Anyway, okay, see what I was saying about the other one does more of an O shape, and this does more of like an actual bead. And that has to do with partly with the spacing, partly with the distance, partly with the strength. It's a bunch of different factors, but this is more like what my 30-pound rig gets on all nails. So you can see that like it is a little bit more like the glass bead effect on those other nails, but this is really, it's a little different. You get a really rounded effect. Yes, well, I mean, to be fair, Leo, emojis barely existed when IRC was a thing. Oh, hey, look. They love each other. They love each other. Okay. That's enough, guys. Okay. You're doing the purple and pink from HT's retro jellies. Those are fun. I like that collection. That might have actually been like my favorite collection that that Holo Taco ever did. I think in terms of not that they were necessarily my favorite polishes that Holo Taco did, but that it was the most like well-conceived, well-realized, the whole thing, the polishes, the type of polish, the formula, the color combination, the variation in it, the box, the packaging, like the whole 9 yards. I feel like start to finish, that was my favorite all-time Holo Taco collection. That said, I think I've only used the polishes a couple of times. So, you know, it being my favorite collection does not necessarily mean that I've used it more than other stuff. Okay, so for the other set, let's do a little experimentation. So I have some star magnets, which look like this. I've got a stack of them. I've got some of these little these little square cube magnets. And I've got some little sphere magnets. So why don't we play around and see what kind of designs we can come up with. Now, I have a let go. I have a little magnetic field visualizer, so you can put your magnets under it and see what will happen with them, which is often not necessarily what you might expect. Like, that's the star. It's just a sphere. You can kind of a little bit see a little star shape. And then this is kind of just like a weird mushy mess. So we can use that to sort of get at least a vague sense of what we might come out with. But we have to bear in mind the caveat that that the viewer is like right on top of touching the magnets. Whereas this is going to be hovering above our nail, which is a curved surface. So at the closest point, it will have a stronger effect on what's happening than it will as the curve drops off, right? So you're never going to get quite the exact sort of shape that you might expect. But let's say if we did like this, and then maybe, I don't know, let's put a star in the middle of it. Let's put a star down and just like see if we can put some. Oh, you don't even want to go around them, do you? Hang on. Do you want to? There we go. What happens if we put a star with some like little spheres? Not on top, beside, please. Ah! Oh, that brings out the star. But in a sort of a rounded way. That's cute. Does anyone have any good suggestions for how to store our magnets / contraptions? You try not to let them clusterfuck, but to no avail. Yeah, so I have above me here on the wall a couple of these kinds of things. I've got a couple of strips, and I've got more of like a larger board of the same material. These are, the strip ones are self-adhesive. They came with magnets. They also have holes in them to screw them in. If you prefer. The board ones also have mounting options. Something like that, I think, is optimal because it lets you arrange magnets and like space them out. Because if they have a little space between them, they're not going to crash together and, as you say, clusterfuck. So that's a great option. I know a lot of people who have Helmers will stick their magnets to their Helmer. I've seen people use jars that have a metal lid, any kind of like storage jar, and maybe they put like their cotton balls or whatever inside the jar and then attach the magnets to the lid. It depends on how many magnets you have that you're sort of dealing with. I have a lot. And so for me, having them arrayed up on the wall there is really useful because I can mostly sort of just grab them without having to move too much. And then some of these little strips that I don't have mounted, I have several of them just on a little cart beside me. And this I will use if I'm like doing magnetic decals, because then I can just place it down on my workspace, arrange the magnets however I want, and then go ahead and put a plastic sheet over it and do my do my design. Yeah, some people, if you have a tripod or a lamp that has a magnetic stand, that's a really common one. Piece of metal zip tied to a shelf, that's a great idea. Yeah, magnetic whiteboard is like the rectangular one that I have up there. Might be worth suggesting a curved choose your own adventure insert. That could be an option. The problem with a curved choose your own adventure insert is that it will depend on your nail's curvature, and that could be challenging for a lot of people. My 30-pound magnet lives permanently inside my my spinner, my DIY spinner. Before it went into my DIY spinner, it lived in a box on the cart, on one of the cart shelves, because it needed to be separated from all other magnets. It's too powerful. Oh, a metal ruler for holding designs in place for making decals. Yeah, that would work really well with the right kind of metal. I'm interested to try and do this on one of these, because I've got fairly short nails and I feel like this could work potentially. So I'm going to try this design with the Snazzy. So now with this, because we're not going to be spinning it, you do want to sort of make sure that you really dial in the height. This is also, it's not curved the same way. So this has like a curved cutout, whereas this one is flat and then the magnets jut out. So it's going to have to be higher relative to anything. So like if I go in here, this is like way higher than I had the other ones. And it's like kind of, I think that's about the right spot. Just trying to see where I need to line up because my nails are so short here. Yeah, I think if I'm just back from touching. Okay. So this, we're probably not going to get very much from. See this distance? I believe we're not going to get much from this distance. I think we need to be a little closer. And this is where things like this get a little risky. Because to get a good design with something like this, you do have to be super close. So I'm going to try that and see how we do. But it's going to be like when I go in, I'm going to have to like go in, press down, and then slide, or lift this up, place my finger in place, and then drop this down once my finger is in place. That's an option. So let's go ahead and this one I'm definitely going to have to adjust per nail. Some of my nails are very close to the same height, but some of them are not. The other thing is, if you are doing a design that like requires things to be lined up, like if you were going to do a striped design or something, for instance, you would want to make sure that you make note of where is the front, because if you intend for it to be angled one way, but then you put your finger in with it like this and it's a different way, that would be a problem. So you do have to think a little more about this. But I like the ability to kind of play and DIY a little. Now, these ones are pretty sheer. So I think with this kind of thing too, because the design is a little more precise, like it has to go in one way. This is one of the few cases where I would probably go ahead and do all the layers and just magnetize on the last coat. But I do kind of want to just test this and see how much we're getting, if anything. Because you're not going to get the exact placement multiple times is the thing. So if you're trying to do it, magnetize each coat, you're not going to get the same placement for each coat. It's basically impossible to do that, to have it identical. So it makes more sense in this kind of case to just do it all on the final coat. The only reason I'm not doing that here is because I just want to get a sense of whether or not this is even going to work at all. Okay, so I do have a little, I don't know if y'all can see, there is actually just a little bit of that sort of star shape coming through. So I think this will actually work. I think this is going to work. We just need multiple coats. So that was a good distance to use. So I think the strategy for these, since we are going to be using two that are fairly sort of sheer, the best strategy for me here is going to be to paint the first two coats, and then decide before the last coat what design I want to do for each one and do the last coat individually. I think that's probably the way to do it. And these are going to be 3 coats for sure, so. Because they are sheer. I like ILNP, but I do find both their magnetics and their multichromes to be quite sheer. Budgie Smuggler got down, and now she's just sitting on the floor, and I don't know if she needs something. I'm a little concerned she might need to, like, use the washroom or something. I might need to allow her to go to the bedroom. All right. Are there any other designs any other arrangements of magnets that people want me to try out? Because we can test stuff with the viewer as well. You like the sheerness because you do 2 thin layers and magnetize the last thick layer? I don't. I don't like the sheerness as much. I don't completely hate it. It's fine. But I prefer a little bit more opaque. I don't usually like to do a very thick third coat because I find that it's more likely to disperse more after magnetizing if that coat is super thick. I just freaking dinged this nail. Because of course I did. All right, can do second coat here. Oh, good, I'm not even in range. Excellent. Okay, second coat there. I might want to try and do like a alternating cubes sort of thing. Yeah, there are absolutely times that the sheerness is very, very good. And I agree, if you're going to try and do that grid thing with the fridge magnets, you definitely want something a little bit more sheer. There are always advantages to every type of polish, and I'm never going to say that there's like a type of formula that is wrong or bad. It's just, on average, my preference is for something to be most of the way opaque in 2 coats, if not fully opaque in 2 coats. And I almost always do 3 coats anyway. But I like it to be at least almost there in the 2nd coat. That's just my preference. Partly because I like a thick manicure. I like a thick manicure because it feels more protective and it peels better as a general rule. I mean, obviously there's a limit to how thick is, but yeah, totally different uses. Like, there are lots of super sheer polishes that I love, and I, obviously take advantage of them for things like the shimmer stamp witch thing. You can't do a shimmer stamp witch with a shimmer that is opaque or mostly opaque in 2 coats. You simply cannot. It needs to be super sheer, or it's not going to work. So, things like that, you definitely want to have that sort of sheerer, almost toppery kind of level. But it just depends on the purpose. Budgie, do you need out? I think Budgie needs out. So I'm going to give y'all... Yes, you come back and you see purple. It's true. There's a lot of purple. This has a purple base. This one here has a purple base. This one. And these ones are purple. I'm wearing a ton of purple right now, Sassy, and I purchased it. At least most of it. Some of it. I'm going to give you Jammy Dodgers while I take Budgie Smuggler out to the bedroom. So just give me a moment. Hi, Budgie. Do you need to go to the bedroom? Yeah? Okay, hang on. Jammy, you woke up. Are you entertaining the stream, Jammy Dodgers? What a good girl. You heard Budgie's meow. Yeah. That was her meow of, don't pick me up. I don't want it. I don't want to be picked up, please. I'm concerned I might get picked up. For no reason. I've given her no reason to suspect that she was going to be picked up. I'm so glad Jammy took good care of you, chat. Have you left me, Mother? I would never. Except on all the times that I do. She's used to it. Maymay, welcome. Hello. If any of y'all aren't already aware, Maymay now has a cat cam. At least for her gaming streams. I'm not sure if it's enabled for her nail art streams or not. Maymay streams on Twitch. And Musumbi, the orange cat that used to be an outdoor cat and is now an indoor cat, and healing very nicely from what I have seen, is sometimes on cat cam. Sort of cat cam. It's not a dedicated cat cam, but it counts. It counts. I'm going to count it. Okay, so we've got the star one sorted out, so let's go ahead and do the star one. Guess I should come back over to the nails up display. So third coat, I want to put it in a little less far than I did during my tester. There we go. I'll just leave that. And then we have to figure out what we're going to do on the other nails. He isn't allowed during gel streams. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think if I was going to be working with gel, I would probably not want to have a cat there while doing it for several reasons. First being the safety of the cat. It's just inherently a little more risky. Also, cat hair. There's no getting around having cat hair flying around when there's a cat in the room. I mean, it also happens when there's not a cat in the room, but it is slightly more controllable. If no cats are allowed in the room, you can at least clean before stream. But cat safety, yes. Cat safety is paramount. Although he has so far, from what I've seen, been a very good boy and stayed in the background, not trying to pester you when anything is happening. You have cat hair in your New Year's Eve, Manny? I mean, yeah. That's what happens when you have a cat that lives with you. He doesn't need to be there. He just needs to be in existence somewhere in your domain. Okay. Yay! We got a little bit of a... Here, focus up, please. We got a little bit of a star. It's kind of... Listen. It's kind of hard to see. It looks like a bunch of weird dots is what it looks like. It looks like a bunch of weird circles. But the thing did happen. It did do a thing. I don't know if I'd say it looks like a star, but it does look cool. I kind of feel like it's got... Like, it's giving octopus in my mind. It's giving octopus. This is kind of fun. Looks like fireworks. Oh, yeah. Kind of does. The way it, like, spreads. That's cool. All right. So that's number one. What else should we try? This is the only problem, is if you want to try something different on each nail, you do have to unscrew. Well, I mean, you don't have to. I could slide out the thing, because this piece comes out of the setting, but I am reasonably confident that I am more likely to ding my nails trying to slide this out while it's in a frame like that than I would just unscrewing it. I feel like I have a little more control just unscrewing it. So, let's see. We'll put these pieces back onto my little storage thing that I have. And try something different. What if we try some cubes? Let's try some cubes. What do we want to do? Do one there. Now, a thing that you have to bear in mind with the cubes when you're working with them is that they won't always align the same way. So if you do a grid, if we can, there we go, convince it to go into a grid pattern. It's possible to have more than one pattern appear depending on the specific orientation of each magnet, each cube within that grid. I'm not sure how best to explain this without just trying to show it. And I'm totally gonna screw up my nails here trying to do this. See this weird ass pattern here? That's a whole grid. That's a whole grid. You would expect if you arrayed a bunch of cubes like this, you would get like a whole grid, right? You would anticipate that. But you don't necessarily. And that's what makes this shit weird. You can't necessarily always predict what you're going to get because it depends on the individual orientation of every single cube in the array. You sent a picture of how Musumbi is sitting right now. Okay, hang on. Is in my DMs. You can also, if you ever want me to show stuff on stream, you can show it to me like just by posting it in the Discord and then let me know that you have posted it there, because either way I can see it and show it. Let's open this with Safari because I have a really easy setup already in OBS to look at Safari stuff. Can you please capture Safari for me? Why are you not just doing the thing? Hello? There we go. Here he is. Here's a good boy. Oh, the baby. What a good Musumbi. Those little leggies, those little ham hocks, and those little scrawny little chicken legs. That kid is hilarious. Floof's Critters is not in... I think that's in Maymay's Discord. Maymay has her own Discord and I have my own Discord, so it's confused. Come on. I'm trying to like get this to arrange in an actual 3x3 grid, which like good freaking luck with wet nails. Yeah. I need to use my forceps here. Reminds you of when your cat had to get his legs shaved? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Forceps are the way to go. I totally was only showing you a cat, so I didn't show you what I was doing, but I used my little forceps to do this. All right, let's see what grid array we have. Okay, see, look, how freaking weird. Why is it doing that? I don't freaking know. If I flip one of them, it's going to change everything. Let's see what happens if I flip this corner one a different way. Come on. There, we'll just rotate that. See if that changed anything. We have We have these like, because look, there's like one line here, but there's not another line here. We've got it here. So it's like these lines are missing. Why are those lines missing? It's got to be because of the way this row is flipped relative to the row beside it, right? But like, how the fuck else is it supposed to be flipped? I'm going to rotate it twice. See if that works. I don't know. Maybe we just got to flip it. Now we'll see if it's any different. The whole thing changed, but in a way that I did not predict. Because now it looks the same, but it's just a different orientation. All right. Let's try this. Is this going to give me something different? Who knows? It's the same frickin' thing. I swear. It's like impossible to predict how this is going to go. Let's see if I do... What if I did... Yeah, they're all thin because he was shaved, because he's had some injuries that he is currently recovering from. All right, what if I just throw everything too close together immediately and then regret all my life choices? Let go of that, please. Okay. I just want 2 of these for the moment. Please and thank you. Okay. Nope. Not like that. Y'all. Gotta attach them to the thing when they're still far away. Okay, so currently, see how it's like doing at a weird angle thing? I have to find a way to rotate this so that it's not doing it at that angle anymore. It's not going to be that kind of rotation. It's going to be... I bet it's going to be that it has to be a single. Because it's going to be the inside. There we go. Okay, now. So now it's nice and flat. Let's see if I can get another one hooked up beside this. There we go. Now we have a nice flat thing happening. All right. Now I want to get another star down. And then can I get you to go like that? There we go. That's what I was hoping for. Let's see what happens. Whoa! What? What even is that? I would not have predicted that. What is that? What is this weird ass nonsense? Yeah, I'm struggling so you don't have to. We're going to try this on one of my nails, okay? We're going to try this on this nail. Because I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's probably going to look weird, and I'm good with that. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely not stars. It's really hard to get star-shaped magnets to actually give you stars, though. That's actually what this is for, this arrangement where the little squares are right up against it. That's the only way I've ever been able to get, like, semi-reliable stars. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, you're definitely too low still. So let's give it a couple of turns. It's just a little bit too far. There we go. We'll do that. Okay. So we'll do our third coat on this nail. So you had 4 cats on your porch, blessings, especially when you don't even own any cats. How does your fiance feel about cats? Are y'all going to be cat people? 3 of them were surrounding a laser pointer and the 4th was not fooled. It does sound adorable. Also, when you get married, are you gonna move there, or is he gonna move to where you are, or have you guys figured that out yet? He's the one who bought the cat toys. Okay, so he's a cat guy. That sounds promising. He's at least not vehemently anti-cat. Kept saying, let's go to pet store and get cat toys. Aw, I love that. Yay, I like fiance. He's officially automatically good for my purposes. He likes cats, he's good. Huge green flag. Wants to get toys for cats? Hell yeah. Green flag. Jammy Dodgers is snoring. Okay, there we go. Listen, I don't know what it is. It's sure as shit not stars. It's some sort of weird ass woogly. I don't know what's going on with it. I'm not mad at it. It's weird. It's definitely weird. It's going to be hard to photograph. Kind of fun though. He's going to move to where you are. That's cool. Yeah, that's true. You do have family here, so it makes sense for him to move to where you are. I guess he can work remotely, right? With what he does? All right. Next design. All right. Should I try to slide it out? No, I'm definitely going to screw up my nails if I try to slide it out. He was excited for a cat to sleep in bed with you. That's so cute. Yeah, I'm kind of also into the weird squiggle. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on with it, but it's fun. I don't know. It's weird, and I like it. All right, let's see. What else do we want to try? Do we want to try, like, something with a small bar magnet? And then I do also have some rings. I have very tiny ring magnets. What if we did something that starts with a ring magnet and then includes, I don't know. What if there were little thingies around a ring magnet? I think I need more. This is obviously going to be too big, but I would just use a section of it. Hang on. Or what if they were inside? Let's see. What happens if they go... Can they go inside? Will they cooperate? This is the other question. Is these sphere ones are sometimes very uncooperative. It's like slightly too big to fit all of them nicely. What happens if we do that? What happens if we do that? Oh, weird. Oh, I don't know about that. That's weird. Let's try it on the outside. Your cookie nails are complete. Huzzah! This is a fucking nightmare. Okay. Oh, well. They like doing that. Okay. We got one to go around to the side. I believe in us. We can do this. We can do the thing. It's gonna work. It's gonna be just fine. You know, I know y'all love watching me struggle. Y'all love watching me struggle. Can you please? All right, let go. Get out of there. Get out of there. You go around to the side. Now, go hang out over there. Oh my gosh. Are you two repelling each other? Really? Is that what's happening? Ah, they are. They're repelling each other. They hate each other. Ah! Okay, what if there was just one though? What if there was just one? What would that look like if there's just one? Let's see. Oh! Interesting. Interesting. All right, we need to try this. Clearly, we need to try this. See what it actually looks like on the nail. Oh my god. I don't understand how I have not completely destroyed every single nail yet. I have definitely dinged several nails. Here's a piece of advice. If you're going to use the snazzy thing, decide on one design and just fucking stick with it. For the whole Manny. Please. For the sake of your sanity. Alright, let's see. Yeah, you're too low. I'm going to do my thumb for this one. Oh, you're definitely too low. Alright. I think that... Do I want that on that end, though, or do I want it on that end? I feel like I might want it on that end. Okay. We're going to do this. I'm just making sure that I'm happy with the alignment, figuring out where exactly I want my thumbnail to be. Okay. I think we're going to do it this way. I do have a little bit of a ding here, but we're not going to worry too much about that. Because we're just playing. Just messing around. It's all good. Oh my god. Okay. I really hope that this works out cool. I mean, it's fine if it doesn't, but it would be nice. Oh, so right now his job doesn't do remote work, but he's interviewing for a remote work thing. That would be cool. It would definitely make life a lot easier if he can do that. It does really give you a lot more freedom. Especially if you want to be able to change states, for sure. At least he's in like a field that has options like that, because not all of them do. As we all know. I have freaking magnets all over the place. I'm breaking the cardinal rule of playing with small magnets, which is, especially if you own pets, you should really, these tiny magnets, you should really always keep them attached to something and have like a magnetic metal work surface under you so that you don't end up with random tiny magnets scattered around. You want to work from home? I would love to work from home. Right now I'm just from home without the work part, which would be fine if someone was paying me for it. Yeah, that's a good field to be in at the moment, for sure, as far as work's concerned. No lack of jobs. Okay, what? Well, we just have a dinky little hole and then like a weird bigger thing. I don't know how I feel about this, y'all. This did not turn out quite as cool as I'd hoped. But you know, it's interesting. It's just not quite what I was hoping for. I don't hate it, but it's not quite what I was expecting. Yeah, working from home can definitely there's the trap there of like when do you stop working, which can be a serious issue. Cuz if you work from home, it's really easy to just not stop working and then you're like all day and all night. Yeah, exactly, Ashley. It's got like some interesting stuff happening, but there's also a lot of like, well, that's boring there. But then if you get that exact right angle, it's really, really cool. I would like it to look cool at more angles, is the thing. It's a little bit too sort of simple, I think. So there's an interesting thing there, but it's not quite there. All right, next. We got 2 more nails to play with. It does look like what the mat showed, but I think I was hoping for more. I think part of it is that I wanted it to be like situated a little differently on the nail. I think the dot ended up a little too central because I kind of wanted more of this part of it visible. And what I got was mostly this part of it visible. And this part kind of fell off the nail. So it was more of a placement issue than anything else, I think. But this does make me wonder about doing... What if there was a ring and... Ooh, what about a ring and a star? What happens if we do a ring and a star? You don't like each other very much. There we go. Now you love each other. So that's going to do something very, very basic and silly, which we don't particularly care about. Does it change if I do this? That could maybe be interesting if it's using this junction here. Maliciously complying by going in only as much time as you're required. Yeah. The idea of hybrid, meaning that you only go in 4 days a week instead of 5, is absurd. That's just some bullshit. All right, what happens if we do this? Am I gonna hate that? I might like it though. What if I go this way? So if that... This might be interesting. Let's try this. Do I have tiny bar magnets? I don't have tiny bar magnets. I have small bar magnets, but I don't have tiny bar magnets. Not like the itty bitty ones that you got. I just have the cubes, the circles, regular bars. All right, is it that way? I think it was that way. And I think I want my nail back a little bit. I wonder if it's better to have it this way. Sorry, just trying to figure out my placement once again. Okay, I do think I want it that way, and then I just need to not go in quite as far. Yeah, it would be great to play with the super teensy bars for sure. I think those could do a really fun thing. But I do not have any small enough for that, unfortunately. But that's okay. Hello, Luna. Welcome to stream. We're playing with the Snazzy Mag. We did some bead magnet stuff with the spinner attachment. And then for this nail or this hand, we're just doing all weird DIY shit. We're just messing around. Yeah, the idea of having to be in the office at 7:30 is insane. That's like not... There's no reason for that. Nobody needs that in their life. Nobody wants it. Nobody needs it. It's not reasonable. You know what I should probably do is like take apart one of these plastic thingies that I have. You know, there's like triple, you know, the 3-armed magnet things. Have like a bunch of different attachments in the ends. I have 2 of those, and I feel like some of the ends have tiny magnets in them. Maybe I could like take apart that. To see what magnets are in it. I also have the little like black plastic coated S magnet tool, which I hate. It's just a weak piece of crap as far as I'm concerned. And I've never been happy with it. And that, I think, has tiny magnets in it. So maybe I could use that. Just take it apart. Oh, is it because they're in a different time zone than you, and so they don't care that that it's too early for you? Is that the issue? They're like doing a late afternoon meeting, and it's actually early morning for you? No, Ashley, you broke a nail. Aw, that sucks. But yay, new nail shelf. Love that. Okay, I don't know, y'all. It's maybe interesting. I'm not excited about it. Again, maybe this is a placement issue. You know? Like I see the little V. It's a little off center. So this is going to be the issue with this tool, is placement. If you want to do anything complicated, you got to get the placement right. And that can be a challenge, for sure. Uno reverse thumb hold a meeting at 7:30 a.m. in their time. That would be worse for her, though. That would be so bad for anybody in North America. It would be fun, but at one point you had a 7 a.m. meeting with the Germans and then an 8 p.m. meeting with China on a Monday. Oh my God. That sounds awful. What a freaking nightmare. Okay, what happens if we... Nope, not like that. Not like that. Stop it. Stop it. Behave. Hey, let go. Let go. Everybody just relax. Nope. Nope. They love each other too much. So this is the other thing. The magnet that holds stuff together in here is a little small. So there's a limit to what you can do. Oh my goodness, look at this. It's so weird. This is not what I would have expected. You see that? Would you not expect to get something else? Ridiculous. Why? Why are magnets like this? Why do they have to be weird? It just bounced itself back. Why do they have to be weird? Why can't they just be normal? Oh my goodness. Fucking magnets. How do they work? How do they work? Okay. Let's try 3 and then 1. Can we get, nope. Can we get 1 to attach? Can we, ugh. I just want 1. I just want 1 to attach differently. All right, you're not going to do it. Here's the thing. I want 1 to attach to a center one. There we go. Okay. Like a Tetris piece. Now, what do you do? Oh! Is bug face. Interesting. Okay. What if I can add 1 to the other side? Nope, you don't want to do it. See? This is the thing. Okay. I swear to God. Why do I do this shit? Why do I even like magnets, y'all? Someone explain to me why I like magnets so much, because clearly they frickin' hate me. You, let go. Sit there. Nope. Sit there. Can you please? Oh my God. Y'all, I am fighting for my life here. Okay, we have that. I just want to try and get one on the other side. Do you think it's going to let me? I don't know. I've got my doubts. I've got my doubts. Nope. Ah, motherfucker. It just flung itself and bounced off of the frame of my camera stand and landed in my lap, thankfully. Okay, you don't want to go that way. Do you want to go this way? Maybe. Nope. I am determined to get this thing to attach to the middle if it kills me. I don't even know if it's physically possible at this point. It doesn't seem to want to be physically possible. Nope. Surely it has to be possible, right? Surely there must be a way. This is ridiculous. Oh my god. Oh. Ah! Okay, it seems the act of putting one on there makes it so that another one wants to jump away. It doesn't want to do it that way, which is so interesting. Oh my god. Okay. My advice to you is to not do this. Okay. I'm just catching up on chat here. Make magnet love, not magnet war. Insane Clown Posse does make some good points on magnets. Yeah, the cubes you do have to arrange one at a time, but that, I think that arrangement simply does not want to happen at all. Linry, I hate magnets, who did Velvet Nails for a month straight. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the magnets just don't want to. They don't want to do the thing. But that's okay. We'll do it this way. It's fine. We'll do it this way. Cuz this is also cool. So I'm willing to try this. All right. Now, hang on. Before I go. All right. So the cool end is where the little penis is. The cool end is the tip. So we want to have that probably toward the tip of the nail. Tip of the fly face penis towards the tip of the nail. And it looks like the whole thing went and rotated slightly in there, so I'm just going to rotate that back. That looks better. Okay. Now, I also want to make sure that it is lined up nicely for the nail. And we've not had a lot of luck with lining up things up here so far, I have to say. We have struggled with lining things up. Now this one is going to be the pinky, which I feel like is suboptimal. I need it to be a little bit further down this way. I want it to be pretty close to the nail so that we actually get as much of the design as possible. That's pretty close. That is pretty close. Okay. We're doing this. Hi, Nana. Welcome. Welcome. We are struggling. We're struggling with tiny freaking magnets. We have this contraption that has like a little metal thing in here that we can arrange some magnets on, and I've been messing around and trying to see if I can get some weird patterns, and so far we've had mixed results, but we're gonna try something that will hopefully be cool on the pinky now. Something with magnets. Yeah, we're trying to give me a freaking absolute meltdown with experimenting with magnets. Because apparently I like to psychically harm myself. Yeah, I know pinky is too small for the face to fit, but we're going to try it. And then I also think that I want to try the middle nail, because I'm not happy with how the middle nail came out. So I might want to try and do it again with that. Did I just fucking... I did, didn't I? Oh my god. I think I just bonked it. I freaking bonked it. God damn it. I accidentally lifted my fingernail and bonked it. All right, well, at least we know the placement was kind of decent. So let's try a fourth coat on this middle nail and see if we can't get something cooler than what we had on there. How about that? Oh, this is... No, what have I done? What have I done? It's going to be way too close. All right, well, let's just cross our fingers. I just bonked it. It's fine. It's fine, y'all. It's fine. It's fine. I have here. I have some of the DIY whatchamacallit stuff for remelting your magnetic polish. Man, am I having fun? First thing I look over, the first thing I see is, are you having fun, Peggy? You know, yes, Nana, it is a beautiful polish and it deserves better than what I'm doing to it here. Yeah, I basically tried to make a DIY version of the DRK magnetic effect nail polish top coat stuff. Which is basically just I had the dregs of some top coat, and I just bombed it with an insane amount of thinner. And so it seems to work okay. Seems to be about the same thing. Yeah, bonking your nails when you're almost done and then messing up the rest of them trying to fix it is such a vibe. I do blame you, Ashley. It was absolutely your fault. It was certainly not the fact that I am trying to experiment with weird ass shit during stream without properly taking the time to plan it out. Okay, but it's kind of interesting. I think it has potential. I think it has potential. It is off center because I'm apparently really good at that. But it's kind of interesting. I'm not mad at this one. I am mildly annoyed at how much stuff I managed to get all over myself, but hey, that's okay, right? It's my right hand. It can't be expected to have a good mani, because poor left hand tries its best, but it is an idiot. It's just not good at this stuff. You know? We'll try and clean up. We'll try and fix this as much as we can. There are limits. But you know what? We played, we learned some things, we had some laughs. The index is your favorite. I also really like how the index came out. It's interesting. The weird little explosions that we got from that one is definitely cool, for sure. And of course, I really like the bead magnets. This polish in particular, I have to say, the one that's on my index and ring finger here, I really, really like this one. More than I expected to based on the bottle, because in the bottle it does look very lavender. And y'all know I am not about a purple. But somehow BCB keeps doing this thing where she makes me like purples, and it's really annoying because then she gets all excited about that fact and rubs it in. But yeah, I really like this one, at least in the glass bead style. I think it's a lot of fun. And this was interesting. This was interesting to experiment with the little magnets. So it is against the law to be good with both hands. And for the edification of anybody who was not here at the beginning, this contraption is the Snazzy Mag, which is sold by, it's distributed by Jen and Barry's, made by Snazzy who's a member of the nail community. And basically has like a bunch of different attachments. So the bead effect nails were done with the velvet attachment, and then basically attach it and then like spin it with this little dial. And then there's like a bunch of other attachments available for it. And then there's this attachment, which just has a magnet inside this thing. And so you can add your own magnets, small magnets, to do different designs with. So that's what I was playing with on this hand, trying just like a bunch of different sort of weird random designs, which, you know, had some sort of interesting effects. Although none of them, I think, are quite what I was hoping they would be. But I do think that this one in particular has some promise, and I would like to play around with this design a little bit more. That's the one that was a little star magnet surrounded by a bunch of little sphere magnets, and I think that one would be cool to play with some more. I do think it will work better on longer nails where there's a little bit more space to see more of the design. That's one of the problems with the magnetic stuff, is that certain kinds of designs you really do need a little bit more real estate to work with. The glass bead looks fantastic on short nails. It always looks good on short nails. It's actually probably my favorite way to wear or to see magnetics on nubs. I love seeing nubs done with the glass bead. I think it's super, super cute. But for some of these more complex designs, if I was a smart person, I would have switched hands and done the glass bead on my right hand and the more complex stuff on my left hand. But I'm not a smart woman, as y'all know. But yeah, this was fun. You're more scared to assemble them. Yeah, I mean, with the small ones, you don't have to worry quite as much because they don't have as much power. So if they do snap together, they're not going to damage each other. The issue, of course, is the larger ones, as you discovered. If they fly across the room at each other, or not across the room, but across several inches of space at each other, they can actually do some serious damage and smash each other and possibly injure you. And of course, the larger, more powerful the magnet is, the more dangerous that becomes. So, which is part of why I like all these various different 3D printed designs that people have come up with, because that 30-pound magnet thing, as much as I love my 30-pound magnet, it is dangerous. It's dangerous. It's too powerful, and it's not like it does a better job than, you know, a decent either velvet or spinner, as you've seen. Like this is good. you're not gonna get better than that with a 30-pound magnet. It'll happen slightly faster, that's all. But that doesn't even matter, because you still have to spin it for a certain amount of time until the polish dries anyway. That's the limiting factor. Yeah, I heard that Chris is coming out with one. It's a 15-pound. So for me, my only concern would be what the width is, because I know that, like with the 30-pound magnet, my thumb fits comfortably. With the 10-pound magnet, it absolutely doesn't. The standard 10-pound horseshoe, my thumb does not fit in that space. And I don't think it quite fits in the 20-pound. So I would be concerned that the 15-pound, if it's like the standard proportions for those horseshoe magnets, I don't think that would work for me. But it does depend, because there are other styles, right? Like some are wider than others. So it does kind of depend on exactly what she's done, what manufacturer she's gone with, and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. Given how tiny her fingers are, I would not be surprised if she went with a super small one and then just was surprised when it doesn't work for everybody. I love Christine, but she does seem to forget that she is not actually the default human. ILNP, I believe, is 30-pound. I'm fairly certain. Is it not? I don't really know. My impression was that it was a 30-pound. I could be wrong. Just putting all my little magnets back on my little keeper here. I don't have quite enough space on my boards that are up on the wall there for all of the tiny magnets. Plus, it's kind of a pain in the butt to deal with all the small ones. So I just, I keep those separate. Oh my goodness. All right, you're having focusing issues. The magnet industry is booming, and I bet they have no idea why. Yeah. I do feel like our piece of that is probably a lot smaller than we like to think it is. Magnets get used for a lot of things. Still the MVP, though. Hello? Can you please focus? No, we're not focusing today. We're allergic to focusing. Hello? Can you please? There we go. This is still the best 3D printed bead spinner I've found. In terms of like how well it does the effect, this is the best 3D printed bead spinner I have found. It's just too loud to use on stream. But that's the best one. Just saying. And you know why? I'm going to tell you exactly why. You see how it's 3 bar magnets stacked? That's power, baby. That's freaking power. That's why the velvets that I use are all at least double stack. These are the standard velvet magnets that I use. Again, this is one of Ray Diligently Procrastinating's designs, just like that spinner is that I think is the best one. The double stack bar magnets, or even on the longer one, there's a triple stack version. It's all the power you could possibly want. It does good shit. All right, these are the polishes that we used. Chris was surprised her mini bottles weren't beloved by anyone. Yeah, by everyone, rather. Yeah, that's not surprised. It's not a surprise to me. I hit the cable on the cat cam. There, that's better. Yeah. It is, I mean, it definitely looks phallic, for sure. That's why we call it the sex toy one. But it does a really good job. The only other one that I've found that does a better job is my personal absolute piece of crap, ridiculous contraption with 500,000 nuts on washers with my 30-pound magnet and my gelato container and my random chunks of sponge. This is almost completely silent, relatively speaking. Does a bang up job, and is completely stupid. So, you know. But of the 3D printed ones, I like Ray's best. All right, y'all. It's been over 2 hours. I'm freaking done. We did some nails. I'm not photographing these nails because this was very much a fuck around kind of stream, but that's okay. I was gonna do nail art. I don't know if we really did nail art. I don't know if we can call this nail art. Can we call this nail art? I might have to change the stream title and be like, I don't know, we fucked around with magnets or whatever. I do kind of want to try and get a better little video of this though, because I feel like this deserves to be explored. But I also might just do a whole mani with this, so we'll see. All right, y'all. I had fun. I hope y'all had fun. Here's a Jammy Dodgers to play us off. What are you doing, Jammy? You sticking your face in the corner? All right, well, there's Jammy's butt. We can call it art and messin'. Yeah. Jammy Dodgers, what a good girl. Next week's stream, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't have plans. Y'all come up with the plans. Tell me what you want me to do for nail art, and maybe I'll do it. You can do that in the Discord, which I'll try and remember to add a link to that in the comments. I'll do my best. I did it last stream, I think, or the stream before. Whatever. Do all the things, do the following and the liking and all of that, and tell all your friends, tell the whole bunch you just had a hippopotamus for lunch. If that becomes my outro, God help us all. All right.